You know, for me, a truck is a tool, not a toy. As soon as I take my truck off-road or start to have fun with it, I'm basically playing with my money. And so when I look at buying a work truck, I want to make sure that I'm absolutely maximizing the bang for my buck. I'm trying to get the absolute most return for my initial investment into that truck. Talk about is the concept, do you want diesel or do you... When I think about diesel trucks, the thing that I think about is I have about a $10,000 initial investment into that truck over a gasoline truck. Now if that's a diesel truck, if that's a truck that I'm going to be using long term, then I don't mind investing in that truck. If I plan on holding on to that truck for 10 or 15 years, then I'm going to look at buying a diesel truck because the improved fuel economy is there. You have good power, and a diesel truck, between the fuel economy and the improved power, a diesel engine is a great way to go. Plus they're typically rock solid, but not always. Make sure you do research on the individual engine. But now if this is a truck that I know is probably going to get used and abused, and I don't say that lightheartedly, but I say that realistically. When you give a truck to your crew and you have multiple parties using that truck, unfortunately they get small dings, they get small dents, chipped glass, maybe the seat gets tore, and no one person is responsible. Those trucks are, unfortunate truth is, those trucks are kind of throwaway trucks, which means when you buy the truck, you expect it to come back and within 5, maximum 10 years, looking like it's been through a battle. It's going to have wounds, it's going to show its scars. And in that case, when I know that that truck's going to be going out to various crew members and not assigned to one individual, I know that I'm going to probably have to sell that truck to get my money out of it within I always think of it as a 5 to 7 year window. Then I opt for a gasoline engine because I know that gasoline engine will hold up fairly well for a 5 to 7 year window, and that's usually about the time when everything on the truck, the drive lines, the brakes, the electrical systems, everything starts to nickel and dime you to death. And so about that 5 to 7 year window, you want to get rid of the truck. Now if you plan on holding on to that truck for a longer period of time, and it's going to be more of whether it's a personal truck for yourself, or maybe it's a dedicated truck to a foreman or someone else that you know and trust is going to really take care of that truck, then you may want to consider investing into a diesel engine. But I say that with a very high level of caution, simply because not all diesel engines are made the same. I absolutely love the Cummins diesel engines. Those things across the board, hands down, have always been one of my favorite diesel engines. Now, Ford diesel engines, a sketchy history, okay? I've had way too many Ford trucks to even count. And they've all been diesel up until the last two, which I purchased, which were gas. But I've had more problem with Ford diesel engines than I've had good results. The only good Ford diesel engine that I've experienced within the last 15 years has been in the 7.3 liter Ford diesel engine. Those things are absolutely bulletproof. Phenomenal engines. If you have an opportunity to purchase one of those, I would highly recommend it. But if you're looking at a 6.1 or a 6.4 diesel engine that Ford makes, with caution. In fact, recently I just sold a 2004 6.1 Ford diesel, and I almost gave the truck away because I wanted to get out from underneath it. It only had 150,000 miles for a diesel engine, but I knew from the history of that engine that it was on its way out, and I even made sure that the guy I sold it to was very familiar with 6.1 liter engines, and he knew what was coming down the pipeline. He got one hell of a bargain. He called me up and thanked me for it. 4 weeks after he purchased it, he still couldn't believe what he got, but I was also able to get out of it. Unfortunate truth was I paid through the nose for that diesel engine right out of the gate, thinking that I was going to be getting something rock solid. So be very cautious. Just because you're getting a diesel engine doesn't mean you're getting a good engine. We're not here to talk about the individual engines, though. What we're trying to talk about is the concept: do you want diesel or do you want gasoline? So let's recap what we know. If this is going to be a truck that you plan on using for a long period of time, your personal truck or a truck for someone that you have a dedicated person that's going to be running it, you may want to invest in that diesel engine because it typically typically, not always, has better fuel economy and better power than a gasoline engine. But on the flip side, if this is going to various crew members, it's not going to be assigned to any one person. That's when I would highly consider getting a gasoline engine, because the rest of the body is going to fall apart about the same time that the engine is going to fall apart. And you consider that more of a throwaway truck. It's going to show its battle wounds. It's going to have the scars to show that it was a work truck. And so you're going to want to decrease your initial investment into that truck as much as possible, because when you go to sell it at the very end of its life, it isn't going to have a whole lot of value. Between the scars on the body and the wear on it, you're going to end up just selling it for whatever you can get out of the truck. So my big question to you guys is, what do you guys prefer? Do you prefer gas or do you prefer diesel? And then tell me why. What truck, what engine, and what's been your experience, both good and bad? I want to hear both scenarios from you guys. Then we can all make a better decision.